Hello and welcome to day 107 of our Chronological Bible in a Year reading. Today we're back in 1 Samuel and we have 25, 26, and 27. So 1 Samuel chapter 25. And Shemuel died, and all Israel gathered and mourned for him, and buried him at his home in Ramah. And David arose and went down into the wilderness of Paran. Now there was a man in Maon, and his work was in Carmel, and the man was very great. And he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. And he came to be shearing his sheep in Carmel. And the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and good looking. But the man was hard and evil in his doings, and he was of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal was shearing his sheep. And David sent 10 young men, and David said to the young men, "Go up to Carmel, and you shall come to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And say this, Long life and peace to you, and peace to your house, and peace to all that you have. And now I have heard that you have shearers. Now your shepherds have been with us. We did not put them to shame, and not a speck of theirs was missing all the days they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and let them inform you. So let the young men find favor in your eyes, for we come on a good day. Please give whatever comes to your hand to your servants, and to your son David." And the young men of David came and spoke to Nabal according to all these words in the name of David, and waited. But Nabal answered the servants of David, and said, "Who is David, and who is the son of Yishai? The servants who are running away from their masters have become many nowadays. And shall I take my bread and my water and my meat that I have slaughtered for my shearers, and give it to men coming from who knows where?" And the young men of David turned around on their way and went back, and came and reported to him all these words. And David said to his men, "Each one gird on his sword." So they each girded on his sword, and David also girded on his sword. And about and about 400 men went with David, and 200 remained with the baggage. And one of the young men informed Abigail, the wife of Nabal, saying, "See, David sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, but he scoffed at them. But the men were very good to us, and did not put us to shame, nor did we miss anything all the days we accompanied them when we were in the fields. They were a wall to us, both by night and day, all the days we were with them tending the sheep. And now know and see what you should do, for evil has been resolved against our master and against all his household, and he is too much of a son of Belial to speak to." Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves, and 2 skins of wine, and 5 sheep made ready, 5 seim of roasted grain, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and loaded them on donkeys. And she said to her servants, "Pass over before me, see, I am coming after you." But she did not inform her husband Nabal. And it came to be, as she rode on the donkey, that she went down under cover of the hill, and there were David and his men coming down toward her, and she met them. And David had said, "Only in vain have I protected all that this one has in the wilderness, so that not a speck was missing of all that belongs to him, and he has repaid me evil for good. Let Elohim do so, and more also, to the enemies of David, if I leave one male of all who belong to him by morning light." And Abigail saw David, and she hastened to come down from the donkey, and fell on her face before David, and bowed down to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, "On me, my master, let this wickedness be on me. And please let your female servant speak in your ears, and hear the words of your female servant. Please let not my master regard this man of Belial, Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, your female servant, did not see the young men of my master whom you sent. And now my master, as Yahuwah lives, and as your being lives, since Yahuwah has withheld you from coming to bloodshed, and from avenging yourself with your own hand, now then, let your enemies be as Nabal, even though seeking evil against my master. And now this present which your female servant has brought to my master, let it be given to the young men who follow my master. Please bear the transgression of your female servant. For Yahuwah is certainly making a steadfast house for my master, because my master fights the battles of Yahuwah, and evil is not found in you in your days. And if a man rises to pursue you and seek your life, and the life of my master has been bound in the bundle of the living with Yahuwah your Elohim, then the lives of your enemies he shall sling out, as from the pocket of a sling. And it shall be, when Yahuwah has done for my master according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and has appointed you ruler over Israel, Do not let this be a staggering and stumbling of heart to my master, that you have shed blood without cause, or that my master has saved himself. And when Yahuwah has done good to my master, then remember your female servant." And David said to Abigail, "Baruch be Yahuwah Elohim of Yisrael," means blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Yisrael, who sent you to meet me today. And Baruch and blessed is your good taste. And Baruch are you, because you have kept me this day from coming to bloodshed and from avenging myself with my own hand. Nevertheless, as Yahuwah Elohim of Yisrael lives, who has kept me back from doing evil to you, if you had not hurried and come to meet me, not a male would have been left to Nabal by break of day for certain." And David received from her hand what she brought him, and said to her, "Go up in peace to your house. See, I have listened to your voice and have accepted your face." And Abigail went to Nabal, and see, he was at a feast in his house, like the feast of a sovereign. And Nabal's heart was glad within him, and he was exceedingly drunk. So she told him not a word, little or much, until morning light. And it came to be in the morning, when the wine had gone from Nabal, and his wife had told him these matters, that his heart died within him, and he became like a stone. And it came to be in about 10 days, that Yahuwah smote Nabal, and he died. And David heard that Nabal was dead, and he said, "Baruch be Yahuwah, who has pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and has kept his servant from evil. For Yahuwah has returned the evil of Nabal on his own head." And David sent and spoke to Abigail to take her as his wife. And when the servants of David had come to Abigail at Carmel, they spoke to her, saying, "David sent us to you to ask you to become his wife." And she arose, bowed her face to the earth, and said, "Here is your female servant, a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my master." And Abigail hurried and rose, and rode on a donkey with 5 of her female attendants. And she followed the messengers of David and became his wife. David had also taken Ahinoam of Yisrael, and so both of them were his wives. But Shaul had given Michal, I think I said Michal, I don't remember how I pronounced it. We're going to go with that. Shaul had given Michal, his daughter, David's wife, to Palti, son of Laish, who was from Galim. Chapter 26. And the Ziphites came to Shaul at Gibeah, saying, "Is not David hiding himself in the hill of Hachilah, overlooking the wasteland?" And Shaul rose up and went down to the wilderness of Ziph, and with him 3,000 chosen men of Israel, to seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Shaul encamped in the hill of Hachilah, overlooking the wasteland, by the way, while David was dwelling in the wilderness, and he saw that Shaul came after him into the wilderness. And David sent out spies, and learned that Shaul had indeed come. And David rose up and came to the place where Shaul had encamped. And David saw the place where Shaul lay, and Abner son of Ner, the commander of his army. And Shaul was lying within the enclosure, with the people encamped all around him. And David spoke up and said to Ahimelech the Hittite, and to Abishai son of Zeruiah, brother of Joab, saying, "Who goes down with me to Shaul in the camp?" And Abishai said, I go down with you. And David and Abishai came to the people by night, and saw Shaul lying asleep within the camp, and his spear stuck in the ground by his head. And Abner and the people lie all around him. And Abishai said to David, "Elohim has surrendered your enemy into your hand this day, and now please let me smite him at once with the spear right into the earth, and not a second time." But David said to Abishai, "Do not destroy him, for who shall stretch out his hand against the anointed of Yahuwah and be guiltless?" David also said, "As Yahuwah lives, except Yahuwah smites him, or his day come that he shall die, or he shall go out to battle and perish, far be it from me, by Yahuwah, that I stretch out my hand against the anointed of Yahuwah. And now please take the spear and the jug of water that are by his head, and let us go." So David took the spear and the jug of water by Shaul's head, and they went away. And no man saw it, or knew it, or awoke, for they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from Yahuwah had fallen on them. And David passed over to the other side, and stood on the top of a hill far away, a great distance being between them. And David called out to the people and to Abner son of Ner, saying, "Do you not answer, Abner?" And Abner answered and said, "Who are you calling out to the sovereign?" And David said to Abner, Are you not a man? And who is like you in Israel? Why then have you not guarded your master the sovereign? For one of the people came in to destroy your master the sovereign. What you have done is not good. As Yahuwah lives, you are worthy to die, because you have not guarded your master, the anointed of Yahuwah. And now see where the sovereign's spear is, and the jug of water that was by its head. And Shaul recognized David's voice, and said, Is that your voice, my son David? And David said, It is my voice, my master, O sovereign. And he said, Why is this, that my master is pursuing his servant? For what have I done, or what evil is in my hand? And now please let my master the sovereign hear the words of his servant. If Yahuwah has moved you against me, let him accept an offering. But if it is the children of men, then they are cursed before Yahuwah. For they have driven me out today, that I should not join myself to the inheritance of Yahuwah, saying, Go serve other mighty ones. And now do not let my blood fall to the earth before the face of Yahuwah. For the sovereign of Israel has come out to seek a flea, as when one hunts a partridge in the mountains. And Shaul said, I have sinned. Come back, my son David, for no more am I going to do evil to you, because my life is precious in your eyes today. See, I have acted foolishly, and have greatly strayed. And David answered and said, See the sovereign's spear, and let one of the young men come over and get it. And let Yahuwah reward every man for his righteousness and his trustworthiness. For this day Yahuwah gave you into my hand, but I would not stretch out my hand against the anointed of Yahuwah. And see, as your life has been valued in my eyes today, so let my life be valued in the eyes of Yahuwah, and let him deliver me out of all distress. And Shaul said to David, Baruch are you, my son David, achieving much, and indeed prevailing. Then David went on his way, and Shaul returned to his place. And I think we have one more chapter here. Yep, 27. And David said in his heart, Now I shall perish by the hand of Shaul some day. There is naught better for me than to escape to the land of the Pelishtites. Then Shaul shall give up searching for me any longer in any part of Israel, and I shall escape out of his hand. So David rose up and passed over with the 600 men who were with him to Achish son of Maoch, sovereign of Gath. And David dwelt in Achish at Gath, he and his men, each man with his household. David with his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Yisraelitess, and Abigail the Carmelitess, Nabal's widow. And it was reported to Shaul that David had fled to Gath, so he sought him no more. And David said to Achish, If I have now found favor in your eyes, let them give me a place in some town in the country to dwell there. For why should your servant dwell in the royal city with you? And Achish gave him Siklag that day. That is why Siklag has belonged to the sovereigns of Yehudah to this day. And the time that David dwelt in the country of the Pelishtites came to be 1 year and 4 months. And David and his men went up and raided the Geshurites and the Girzites and the Amalekites, for those nations were the inhabitants of the land from of old, as you go to Shur, even as far as the land of Mitzrayim, which again is Egypt. And when David had smitten the land, he left neither man nor woman alive, but took away sheep and cattle and donkeys and camels and garments, and returned and came to Achish. And Achish would say, Where have you made a raid today? And David would say, Against the south of Yehudah, or against the south of the Yerahmeelites, or against the south of the Canaanites. David did not keep alive man nor woman to bring news to Gath, saying, Lest they inform against us, saying, Thus David did. And this was his practice all the days that he dwelt in the country of the Pelishtites. And Achish trusted David, saying, He has indeed made himself a stench to his people in Israel, and has become my servant forever. And that concludes our reading today. Thanks for joining. I hope you're reading along, and peace and blessings and love to you. See you in the next one.